What if everything you've ever been told by the news was carefully designed to control what you think? What if the most powerful governments in the world had a method, a formula to manufacture your opinions? One man figured it out, and they tried everything to silence him. His name is Noam Chomsky, and this is his story. Noam Chomsky has been called the most cited living intellectual on the planet, a man whose ideas have shaped how millions of people think about politics, media, and power. He is a linguist, a philosopher, a cognitive scientist, and one of the most fierce political critics America has ever produced. He has written over 100 books. He has been banned, criticized, and dismissed by mainstream media, and yet his ideas keep spreading. Why? Because once you understand what Chomsky is saying, you cannot look at the news the same way ever again. Avram Noam Chomsky was born on December 7, 1928, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His father, William Chomsky, was a Hebrew scholar who had fled Ukraine to escape military conscription. His mother, Elsie Simonovsky, was a political activist with strong leftist views. From a very young age, Noam was surrounded by ideas, big ideas about society, justice, and power. At just 16 years old, he enrolled at the University of Pennsylvania. It was there he fell in love with linguistics, the scientific study of language. But Chomsky wasn't just interested in words. He was fascinated by the structures hidden underneath them, the invisible patterns that shape how humans think and communicate. By 1955, he had completed his PhD, and by 1957, his first major book, Syntactic Structures, had already turned the entire field of linguistics upside down. He joined MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and would remain there for over 50 years. But the world was about to change, and Chomsky would change with it. It was the Vietnam War that transformed Noam Chomsky from a respected academic into a political force the establishment feared. In 1967, he published a landmark essay called The Responsibility of Intellectuals. In it, he argued that scholars and academics had a moral duty to speak truth to power, especially in times of war. The essay exploded. People across America were asking, why is our government lying to us? And here was a Harvard-educated MIT professor saying, yes, they are. And here is the proof. Chomsky became one of the most vocal and well-researched critics of American foreign policy. He spoke at protests, he debated government officials, he was put on Nixon's enemies list. But he didn't stop, because for Chomsky, this wasn't politics, it was truth. But perhaps Chomsky's most powerful contribution came in 1988, when he co-authored a book with economist Edward Herman, a book called Manufacturing Consent. The idea is simple and terrifying. Chomsky and Herman argued that mass media in democratic societies does not exist to inform you, it exists to manage you. Through what they called the propaganda model, they showed that the news is filtered through 5 key forces: corporate ownership, advertising revenue, official government sources, negative responses to stories, and a dominant ideology. Together, these filters determine what stories you see, and more importantly, what stories you never hear about at all. Think about that the next time you turn on the news. Who owns that channel? Who pays for its advertising? And whose interests are really being served? These are the questions Noam Chomsky has spent his entire life asking, and the answers, if you're brave enough to look, will change how you see the world. Today, Noam Chomsky is in his 90s. He is still writing, still speaking, still questioning power, and the world still isn't ready to fully hear what he has to say. But that's exactly why channels like this exist, because someone has to ask the questions the mainstream media refuses to ask. This was just the beginning. In our next video, we will break down his most important work, Manufacturing Consent, and show you exactly how the propaganda model works in today's media. If you believe the truth matters, subscribe to the Chomsky Files, hit the bell, and share this with someone who needs to wake up. Because knowledge is power, and they know it.